I wasn't thinking about war or acts of heroism as I navigated the road on that beautiful spring day in France, and I certainly never anticipated the intensely emotional journey that was to follow. May 8th, 2010 was a national holiday, and I'd arranged to have a leisurely lunch with Maman at her home in Garches. As always, I looked forward to visiting my mother and enjoyed spending time in the house I grew up in. Situated between Paris and Versailles, Garches is only 12 kilometers from the capital, a short commute to the big city, yet far enough away to retain a unique rural flavor, the best of both worlds. Maman and I sat down to lunch as we had done many times before, and enjoyed the simple salad and cheese plate she'd prepared. We French have a reputation for being excellent cooks, but somehow Maman had never mastered a high degree of culinary skill. This was a great source of amusement among my siblings and me, and we delighted in joking about her latest concoctions, like her indisputably famous cucumber ice cream. I was a bit disappointed that my sister Maud was unable to join us. She and her husband Lionel live in Garches with their 2 daughters, Lucy and Manon, and they were on a family holiday. We would have some fun teasing Manon about the many strange dishes we'd consumed at her table over the years. Manon and I engaged in our usual discussion about the family, the weather, and other items of interest. She clearly had something else on her mind that she wished to discuss with me, and she brought it up in her own good time. She'd recently received a letter addressed to her and my papa, who passed away 14 years earlier in 1996. "Since your English is better than anyone else's in the family, it would be best if you take care of this," said Maman, handing me an envelope. I pulled out a folded sheet of paper and began to read. "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Le Febvre, I wanted to inform you of our loss. My dad, Russell Kotz, has passed away. He died in December of last year. I have been looking through my dad's war history memorabilia and letters when I came upon letters from you. I realized you were the son of Claude LeFebvre and the grandson of his grandmother, Christiane LeFebvre. I want you to know my dad always remembered and was extremely grateful to your grandparents and your father, Claude, for the sacrifices and danger they put themselves in on his behalf. He never forgot, and he always spoke highly of your family and those of the French resistance. He referred to your family as the most courageous people in the world. I will always remember as a child how happy and excited he was when he received a letter from your grandmother or Claude. I want you to know he loved them very, very much. Sincerely, Amy Kotz-Schmidt." I examined the envelope and its contents once again and discovered that Amy Schmidt had written the letter a month earlier, and the return address indicated she lived in Peachtree City, Georgia. A second piece of paper was included in the envelope, Russell Kotz's obituary. He'd served in World War II as an aircraft commander and pilot in the 385th Bomb Group with the U.S. Army Air Forces in Europe. Mr. Kotz's plane was shot down during a mission, but he evaded capture by the German army with the help of members of the French resistance. My head was spinning, and I felt a strange twinge in the pit of my stomach as I tried to make sense of all of this. French resistance? The most courageous people in the world? Were this American woman and the accompanying obituary referring to members of my family? I looked at Maman. "Do you know what this is about?" I asked. Maman merely shook her head. "I suppose that's no surprise. In general, we French are private people. We don't ask a lot of questions of one another, nor do we volunteer much information. My mother is especially private and has a saying, 'Chacun son jardin secret.' Literally translated, it means, each of us has our secret garden." I sat for a moment, the letter in my hand, as a distant memory stirred my thoughts. When I was a child growing up in Garches, my paternal and maternal grandparents lived next door to one another, just across the street from my parents' house. It was an ideal situation for me, and in my imagination, I pictured my parents as teenagers, carrying on flirtatious conversations as they leaned out the windows of their respective homes. Great-grandmother Christiane and her husband, great-grandfather Georges, whom we called Grand-père au chapeau, grandfather with a hat, also lived across the street. I have vague memories of Grand-père au chapeau. He was an elegant gentleman from the old French aristocracy. But, for whatever reason, I have no recollection at all of grandmother Christiane.